Hello and welcome to Novel Nourishment, and welcome back. It's been a while, but it's lovely to be back. And today I'm going to show you how to make a Bolognese using ingredients from Lidl. Now this was very cheap, this meal, just adding it up. The beef was about £2.20, tomatoes about 80p, so that's £3. Mushrooms £3.70, £3.80. The spaghetti was like another 40p, so we're talking £4.20. The Bolognese sauce was like 50p, so £4.70. Probably about £5 in total is the total amount of ingredients you'll be using for this meal, and it will feed 2 people very happily. The ingredients are great quality and absolutely fantastic prices, and it's a really wholesome meal. Anyway, to get started, there was also ginger in there, and a bowl of garlic, and obviously the red onion. So yeah, there are the ingredients. And now to get started, I'm just cutting up the red onion. I peel off the kind of the crispy coating of it. I don't use that bit in the meal, but I know some people may, because I'm sure it has. There must be a reason why it's there. It must have benefits to it. So I cut it off, and I have a very special blender, a chopping blender for this, so I actually don't, but you could cut up the whole onion at once and the garlic into little dices if you don't have this piece of equipment I'm using. And I have got some garlic. I am just taking each individual segment out, and I leave the skin on the garlic. I do not take the skin off the garlic. I believe the skin of the garlic has some benefits, and I think it's quite tasty, and I think it adds a bit more flavour to the dish. And finally, the ginger. Now, as you can see, it's very important that you always wash your vegetables, because they've had these, especially these ones, these are not organic, so they've probably had like many pesticides on them while they were growing. So it's very important that you give it a good wash. And it's just, you should always wash your vegetables. I even wash my pasta. So yeah, I put it in this little plastic container here, and I put a little bit of sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, I think it's soda or bicarbonate, just baking soda, and then that helps just get rid of all the chemicals off the edge of it. And then one more, tip it out into the colander, give it a little shake off, and I move the camera back, and it's time to put it in the automatic chopping blender. I'll actually leave a link to this blender in the description. I'm not affiliated on, but I will leave an Amazon link to this, because I have an Amazon affiliate program. So if you click on it, you'll also be supporting the channel and the business, while also, you get the exact same price. So I'll leave a link to the chopping machine I use here. It's excellent. It's by, I can't remember the brand exactly, but I'll leave a link to the cutting blender in the description, so I think that could be really helpful to many people. My mother bought it for me. Very kind. Now I use the knife. I put a little bit of olive oil into the pan, and this is so basically when I put the onion in, it doesn't all stick to the pan. It kind of has something to swim in while it's warming up and cooking. And I use the knife to get all the garlic and onion out of the pan. Very important, you don't want to waste. This is the good stuff. Now this is not for the faint-hearted, this meal. This is, I say, this is like an Italian pasta that is like made to be more, good for the gym and good for health. It's not made, it's very tasty, but it's not specifically made for taste. It's also made for great nutrition, and for some people you might not want to put that much garlic, onion, ginger, and you might want to put half the amount in, and that's absolutely fine. I add some balsamic vinegar as it enhances the flavour of the like the root vegetables, I believe, or whatever garlic is. I put some of that in to enhance it, and it smells lovely. I bought the balsamic vinegar from Lidl as well. It's very cheap. Now I cut up some chestnut mushrooms. Now you can also go for organic mushrooms, any type of mushrooms, but I just went for this mushroom, as I really think it's tasty. I chop them up and I put them into a plastic container, and I also repeat the same process again when it comes to cleaning the mushrooms. I will always clean them very specifically and very well. So there we go, chopping them up finely. I don't chop them up too finely because they reduce in size when you cook them. So if you just chop it each one about twice, you'll get 3 separate little mushrooms out of the same mushroom. And you can actually grow these quite easily. I've seen videos online where you just get a little piece of the mushroom. You can even just chop a mushroom in half, put it on some wet paper, put some baking soda in it, put it under put some foil on top of it, and it'll probably grow another one for you. I've seen that on the internet before. Now again, I put the bicarbonate of soda, and I wash them again, and I really make sure I leave them in there for a fair bit of time, and I really try and get all the yuckiness off it. I think that's very important. I think if you do not go to the effort to wash your vegetables, then your meal's not going to taste as good as it can be, and also it could be quite dangerous for your health. And as you can see, if you look how dirty that water was in the bottom of that plastic container, it's disgusting. And that's the reason why you want to wash your vegetables, and a lot of people don't. You might think, oh, that's crazy. A lot of people don't. Now, as a reference point, I have the pan on a medium-high heat, so on mine that would be 7 if you have an electric cooker, or if it's out of 9, it's a 7. But now, yeah, so you want to keep it on a medium-high heat, medium to medium-high, not high because you'll burn it. And with olive oil, the flash point is quite low, so you want to not do it too high. Now, I do the same with the pasta. I try and wash all the starch on the outside off. I just find it tastes a bit better. More stringy, more elasticy. I always wash my hands. And also, it's not organic pasta and stuff, so you don't know how the wheat's been growing and stuff. So I just always think it's better just to wash your pasta. And then I have a pan here which is on a heat of 5, but it should have been on a heat of 7. So you want your pan for your pasta on quite a medium-high heat, not too high, otherwise you'll just destroy the structure of the pasta and everything. But you want a bit of it. And now I put a little bit of olive oil in the pasta to avoid it sticking. My friend at uni showed me that trick. Put a little bit of salt in there so it will just water absorbs well. And you may have noticed I cut the pasta in half. And yeah, so you want to be heating this up till it's kind of, you want to use your eye, but it'll be about, what's that about? This meal in total will take about half an hour to cook. I put the video on 2.5 times speed, 2 to 2.5 times speed for the majority of this. Now I put the beef mince in, and when the beef mince starts to go a bit, when it starts to look cooked, so it starts to go brown, is when your meal's almost done. So I use chopsticks, but you can use a wooden spoon just to break it all up and mix it all together. I find the beef gives everything a really nice strong flavour, like it really soaks very well into the mushrooms and stuff. As well as the garlic and the onion will change the flavour of the beef, so it all just works together quite well. Very nice, very nice. And as you can see, it's already starting to go a little bit brown. Now I have the heat on medium-high. You don't want to go too high as you'll mess it up. The medium-high is enough. Now I squeeze a lemon into the pan. I like lemon. You know, it's Italian lemons. You know, I just thought that'd be a nice addition. Give it a nice citrusy note. And then we stir that around again. Nice and easy. Now I recommend trying to use a big frying pan for this. Don't use a small frying pan. And this could serve 2 or 3 people. Probably you could serve 4 people. This is extra pasta. Now we put the tomatoes in there, and as per usual, we wash the tomatoes before we put them into the dish, because again, they're not organic. And you don't want to be consuming any of the pesticides on them. Even when it's organic, just wash it. It's not a big deal. It's so easy. Anyway, wash it. I think I do it. Do I do it once? I'm a bit lazy there. You washed them with one wash, but it does the job. Now mix that all together in the pan. Very simple, very easy. As you can see, it's starting to really fizz up. You can see quite a lot of the fat from the beef in there, but the fat is very nice. It gives, beef fat's a very nice fat. It's very flavoursome. It's got lots of saturated fat in it, which is nice. It's good if you go into a gym. It's going to be good for your testosterone levels. Now this is an optional ingredient, along with the lemon's also optional, but this is the spring onion. I finally cut the spring onion, and my battery runs out on my, not my battery on my phone, but the storage falls out, so I cut this thing there, but I put it all in the plastic container again, and we go over to the famous sink, which is full of rubbish, and we wash it. Now you always want to wash these, because these they pick up a lot of dirt, we haven't been washed too well, and you just want to always wash your veggies and your roots and everything. And again, we go and pick up the chopsticks and mix it around again, but again, you can use a spoon. Try to avoid using anything with metal, because you can often get bits of the pan or go into the food if you use metal forks and stuff, like Teflon flakes go into food. Now we use a bit of chili pepper, some chili powder. So I used about probably about a tablespoon of chili powder, maybe a tablespoon and a half. But I quite like spice, and it wasn't too spicy when I ate the meal, but it gave it a nice little kick. And now, look, as you can see, the beef has gone brown, so it's time to put in the tomato Bolognese sauce. And to get all of it out, I put a little bit of water in at the end, shake it and put it all in, and then we just swish that around a little bit. Now all we do now is just wait for it. We kind of leave it on like a medium-high heat. We kind of stick on a medium-high heat the whole time, like a 7 if you have the natural. Not the whole way, you don't blast it, but a medium-high heat. You just need to be the judge of that. And we add a little bit more balsamic vinegar into it to enhance the flavour of everything. Add a little bit of that in, a little bit of pepper. I also added some Italian herbs in at one point. I'm not sure if it showed in the video, but I did add a lot of Italian herbs in as well. And you can add some more Italian herbs at the end point as well. It just improves the flavour and gives it a stronger flavour. Very nice, very nice. And we're just waiting for it basically to all reduce into one. So as you can see, I got a bit hungry and I tried a little bit of it. But you just want the sauce to reduce. You don't want it to be too runny, but it's personal opinion. But I would leave it on there for another 5 minutes on a medium-high heat once you've added the sauce. Now of the pasta, I'm testing the pasta. I tried a little bit of it to make sure it was alright. And it was alright. It was fine, but it still needed a bit of extra cooking. And one tip is when you have pasta, I'll show you it, you'll see it in the video in a second, it's transformative. It's entirely transformative when you have this. So I'm just mixing around the pasta to make sure it all cooks evenly. And now I turn the heat off on the pasta, I go over to the cooker, and this is where I want to cool the pasta down to make it more stringy. So what I do is I just fill it up with cold water, the coldest setting. Just fill that pan up with cold water as much as you can, and then some of it will fall into the colander, but that's okay. You just want to fill it up with as much cold water until the water is cold, until it's quite uncomfortable for your hands being that cold. That's how you can even use ice. Throw the pasta into an ice bath, because this will give the pasta a more elastic, kind of stringy texture. It's much nicer. It's what restaurants most likely do. And you just keep, I think I'll go over it again with cold water. And here's the final meal. It was absolutely delicious. Around £5, £4 to £5 for the meal. It wasn't much at all. It was absolutely amazing. Delicious. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today, and if you want to try a meal like this, have a go at it, and if you did try it, let me know in the comments below and let me know how it went. Remember, add lots of mixed Italian herbs. It's very good. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.